This should be good. What's up, Alphas? For those of you who don't know me already, my name is Starla Moore, and I share Etsy knowledge on the internet for people to enjoy. Let's just get into it. Steven asks, what is your favorite type of pizza? So bold of you to assume I even like pizza, Steven. I actually do like pizza a lot. Mark and I don't order pizza very often though, because Mark is quite the cook and he usually makes something very gourmet and fancy for dinner. However, when we do order pizza, or if I'm feeling lazy, I like to get those screamin' Sicilian pizzas from the grocery store. I usually just go basic. I really like really basic pizzas, like supreme pizzas, but I do like a lot of black olives and green peppers. So that wasn't really an Etsy question, but I hope that that answers all of your pizza wonderings that you may have. Next question. April asks, what is your best advice for a good product description? So for product descriptions on Etsy, generally what I recommend is take the most important things about your listing, like the size, like the materials. For necklaces, I like to talk about whether it's three-dimensional, like if you can flip it over, is it going to be cool on the back, or is it just kind of plain on the back, only cool on the front? Just anything that they need to know, and create a very short bulleted list. Now, even if you already have these things listed in your attributes section, a lot of buyers miss those. So create a little bulleted list and paste that sucker right in the very tippy top of your listing description. Then under that, get into the details. What inspired you? What is the cool thing about this product that makes it different than anything else? And how is the buyer going to benefit from purchasing your product? So, listing descriptions, make sure that you have all the important stuff at the top and the less important stuff at the bottom. Next, Jane asks, hey, I missed the live today, but I watched the replay tonight. I have an item that sells well. I always renew it after it's sold out. Is it best to not let it sell out and keep checking stock, or is it good to renew after it's sold out? So it really, as long as you're doing it quickly, it really doesn't matter. Don't let it sit for like 5 days, because what ends up happening is people can't engage with that listing, and that can affect your listing quality score. You want people engaging with that listing, but if it's only going to be a few hours, that's usually fine. In fact, what I recommend doing is, even if you have a quantity of 10 of a certain product, list a lower amount than what you have. This really helps to build scarcity, because if someone sees that there's only one left in stock, they're more likely to make that purchase quickly, rather than, just putting that item in their cart and not checking out, or favoriting it and deciding that they're going to come back to it later. If they see that there's a quantity of one, they're more likely to buy it on the spot. Then maybe the next day or later that night, you can just hop in and add more quantities, even, just one more to that listing total. That way you can really boost your scarcity aspect and get people purchasing quickly. That's what you want, right? You want them to purchase immediately so they don't forget that they were thinking about purchasing your product. Next. This is what happens when I post things like this at 6:20 p.m. in the afternoon when everybody's about to cook dinner. Renee asks, what's your favorite side for a meal? So it really depends on the meal. I have a bomb, like super mega bomb recipe for sweet potato casserole, but let me tell you, it is sweet and very bad for you. That's something that you're interested in, just let me know and I'll post the recipe somewhere. I grew up like way out in the county, not quite on a farm, but in farm territory. It was farms all around us, and my great grandma was pretty much the one who kind of raised me during the day, because my dad was a truck driver and my mom was a nighttime nurse, so she had to sleep during the day, and I really only got to see her at nights and on weekends. So I grew up with a lot of Southern cooking and a lot of German cooking. Most of my family is German, so we eat a lot of roasts. We did a lot of different like roasts and potatoes and stews, lots of different stews and beef stews. I've got a few things that I've kind of like adopted that my family used to make that I make completely different now. For example, one of my grandma's favorite things to make were Brussels sprouts, but she boiled them and they were just disgusting. They were like slimy and they stunk. The whole house would stink when she would make Brussels sprouts. And when Mark and I got married, he told me that he hated Brussels sprouts. And he'd only ever had them that way as well. He'd only ever had the boiled version. But what I do, and one of my favorite side dishes, is to take whole Brussels sprouts and cut them into little halves, lay them on a baking sheet, spritz them with a little bit of olive oil, sprinkle on whatever seasoning that you like. I really like ranch seasoning from Flavor Gods. They're probably one of my favorite seasoning companies, and they have all kinds of great seasonings. And then you just toss those in the oven uncovered on a baking sheet until they look crispy. I really like to do that when I was bodybuilding. I would make those, and then I would create like a really low-cal dip where I would dip them and make different like veggie chips. I used to do broccoli and the Brussels, and I would do carrot chips and things like that. So super easy. If your kids don't like veggies, it's a good way. If you say, oh, we're making veggie chips, then they're usually a little bit more interested in trying new things. I wonder if we're gonna get any more food related questions. Amanda asks, tips on time management with little kids. Okay, so I will state that I have one kid, but I used to be a preschool teacher where I was responsible for like 20 of these little screaming creatures at the same time, of all different age groups depending on what classroom I was teaching in that day. So I do have experience with taking care of lots of little ones, but I only have experience taking care of my one while running my business. I started my Etsy shop when my daughter was a newborn. In fact, that's kind of why I started an Etsy shop. I was a stay-at-home mom and I wanted to spend time at home with my little one. At that time, Mark was in the military, and we were on a military base that was just in the middle of the desert with nothing around us for miles. If we didn't want to shop at the grocery store on base, we had to drive like an hour just to get anywhere to do basic shopping. So when my daughter was really little, I would really just kind of manage my time based on her schedule. A lot of the time that involved me parking her in front of the TV with a snack while I got some work done or got some orders packed. But I always made sure that I was at least close enough where I could hear her and I could peek in and check in on her, even if that meant that I had to sit on the couch with my laptop to do some photo edits or things like that. Unfortunately, when it comes to being a parent, you really got to work based on your kids' schedule. And as they get a little bit older, it gets so much easier. What I started to do for my daughter when she was about 4 or 5 years old is I gave her jobs to do. I would let her know that mommy's working right now, mommy's got to do her job, and I want you to do your job. Here's your list of special jobs. And if you do your special jobs, then you'll get a special reward at the end of the day. I'll pay you, and usually that payment came in the form of ice cream, or maybe I would even just print a coloring page with my printer. She really enjoyed that. That's another little hack. Google like random coloring pages and let your kid pick their coloring page and tell them that if they do their like little chores during the day, you'll print them any coloring page from any cartoon or any cartoon characters that they want. And they love that. There are so many like free coloring pages that you can just find on Google. So that's like my little hack that worked for my daughter. Hopefully that works for your kiddos as well. Just give them a little list of jobs that they can do and let them know that when you're doing your job, they need to be doing their jobs, whether that be cleaning their bedroom, or sometimes I'll give my daughter just a wet wash rag and I'll say, okay, go clean all the doorknobs, and she'll go around and do all the doorknobs. Or I'll give her our Swiffer duster and I'll say, go dust all of the bookshelves and come back when you're done. And she just feels so special that she's able to do those big girl tasks. So that would be my suggestion. You could even print a little chore list and put it on the fridge for them to do every day while you're working. All right, next, Liz. I hope it's Liz. Liz, do you think it is better for our social media presence to be a mix of us and business, or just business? I think I may be losing some followers because my social feed is kind of sterile, but also not sure what direction to go. Sorry for a technical question. It's been on my mind all day. Think of it like this. Do you guys enjoy when I talk about Brussels sprouts and my favorite pizza? Do you guys follow me on Instagram? If not, you should. My name is Starla, the letter K, and more. Scroll through my feed. It is a good balance of business and business recommendations and funny stuff that's going on in my life. At the core, a majority of the things that you post should be business related or linked back to your business in some way, whether that be products, whether that be you working on things, but you can still show a little bit of your personality, because what that does is it gives your audience something to cling on to. They want to relate to you, and if they can relate to you and they enjoy you as a person, they're more likely to buy from you in the future. So I recommend a good balance, but when doing that, make sure that you're creating a lifestyle that your ideal target audience would also connect with or want to be a part of. For example, a lot of the personal photos that I post are of my pets, of the books that I'm reading, of the coffee that I'm drinking, of the crazy places that I'm visiting, of the public speaking events that I'm doing. So they're very personal, but they're all tied back to business and my life and my own personality. Just kind of think about the reasons that you follow me. What is it that you like about me, and why is it that you follow my trainings as opposed to someone else's? And then think about those things in reference to your own life. What is it that someone might enjoy about you and want to follow you for? Because if you just post business, product, people get really burnt out on that. You need to throw a little bit of fun and flair, and even if it's just you working in your office, post photos, just go crazy with it. Jane is back. Jane's back with another question. If you were in charge of Etsy, what changes would you make and why? If I was in charge of it, I feel so on the spot, and this isn't even live. So if I was in charge of Etsy, the first thing that I would do would be buckle down on customer service. Etsy's customer service is so lacking right now. They need to be investing some money into better customer service so that they can be a little bit more responsive. I think that would be the number one thing that I would do. I would also really change the way that ODR works. It's a really good premise, but the way that it's currently set up is completely wrong. I mean, it's a good thing to weed out the sellers who are just really crappy to their customers and who give really bad customer service and sell crappy products. But bad reviews are kind of inevitable on any online marketplace. You're gonna get a few bad reviews, and penalizing an entire shop for a bad review of a product, like a face mask not fitting someone's exact face shape, that doesn't mean that it's a bad product. It just means that that particular person wasn't satisfied with their purchase, which happens. It happens to all of us. I'm sure that you've gone to your favorite restaurant and ordered a dish that you don't like. It doesn't mean that the whole restaurant's bad. It just means that you didn't particularly like that thing that you ate. So ODR would be my second one. Customer service and ODR are the things that should be fixed right away. But the other big thing that I think that I would fix is I would try to buckle down more on people that aren't handmade or don't fall into Etsy's original foundation categories. All these people who are just buying things off of eBay in bulk and then saying that they're handmade and selling them on Etsy. That's just, Etsy used to not be about that, and Etsy would still take down these shops if they knew about them, I think. But right now, I guess Etsy has bigger fish to fry, so they're not out actively looking for shops like this. But I wish that there was a way that they could just filter those particular sellers out. I don't want to say that it's something that I would change when I can't even propose a solution for it. I'm a little bit tech savvy, but not when it comes to coding and algorithms and writing things like that. So I don't want to say that it's something that they aren't already actively trying to fix. I'm sure that there's someone on the Etsy team that's trying to actively fix this issue, but it is something that I feel affects a lot of sellers, especially when we see so many sellers who are struggling to compete with other sellers who aren't handmade, and they're just reselling things that they bought in bulk from eBay. So those are top 3 things that I would change. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in joining the Handmade Alpha Facebook community so that you can chat with my other little Handmade Alpha crew and hang out and ask me questions when things like this pop up, be sure to check out the link down below. Not only that, but I've got some links to some free ebooks and marketing calendars and all different cool, awesome stuff that you can download and print and have fun with it. And of course, if you're new here, we do tons of Etsy videos and we go live every Friday to hang out with you guys, our favorite people in the whole wide world. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Give us a thumbs up, and until next time, guys, bye-bye.